Once again, Funky Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, compliments to Mr. Amp Fiddler. Tuning in, bringing us up here on the Roland Grimes Show live. Beauty and the Beast version. A couple of times a month. The third and fourth Mondays here on elifemedia.net. I'm reaching out to all my friends and many of my enemies here on Facebook, just hollering at you all because I love you. It'd be nice if I put the right information on here. But tune in to us on elifemedia.net. And if you can hear the sound of my voice, you're probably on there with me. I have some very, very special guests. But Coach Tanya, I really am having trouble letting go of this funk while I switch over. You know how I am, so forgive me because certain things like Coach Tanya and funk, I just can't let go of. Coach Tanya, guess what?
I can't hear myself. That was gone.
That's what I was gonna tell you. You can't hear yourself. See, you so magnetic that like I always get a scream when I bring you in.
Yes.
All right, talk to me again. Say my name.
Say my name.
Okay, see, you wrong for that. You wrong for that. See.
Okay.
See, certain people.
Bubba Grimes.
Certain people.
Chocolate troglodyte on a Monday night.
Ah, sus. So she did it without a prompt.
Yes.
All right, let's do it again without Amp talking.
Okay.
Good evening, folks. My name is Roland Bubba Grimes here on the Roland Grimes Show, live Beauty and the Beast version. It's Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for all you mugs out there. I just want to thank you once again for tuning in and being a part of another rendition. This is probably the 955,000th show I've done, if there is such a thing here at elifemedia.net. We've also been on WBGR Online. We've also been all over the DMV area doing restaurants and some other special things. And I just want to let everyone know it's a special time because it's our birthday month.
Yay, Cancer.
Among
Team
other
Cancer.
things. Team Cancer.
Yes.
That's right. And that be me and Coach T.
Yes, sir.
Coach T, how you doing, sweetheart?
I am fabulous.
I see it.
Yes.
And anytime you get that wiggle and you in orange and you fabulous.
Yeah.
What? You gotta love that. Let me unmute the mic of the unknown soldier, just so y'all hear what he say. So you gotta like that, right?
Love it.
It's something about a sunset on Coach Tanya on a Monday night that is just so extra special. You know what I'm saying?
She's bringing the color on my mic out.
You feel me? She bringing the color on the mic.
You know, I didn't plan this. First of all, I didn't plan for my hair to be orange, but
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
It just so happened.
It just so happened, and then I happened to wear an orange dress today.
Is that right?
Yes.
Now you know which
And
is.
I got the orange microphone, and then when I spoke to Jay, he said he was from Syracuse. I said, okay, so now I got two orange men in the building.
You feeling me?
So, hey.
So because I'm nasty, I'm gonna keep asking questions. So what else? What else are you wearing that's orange?
No, I have an orange, white, and black.
Oh,
Now.
do you?
Take your pick.
Make them blow a fuse, man.
Ooh, I don't know. In order to pick, I have to see.
That will not happen.
Okay, hold on one second. I have what they call imagination. So,
Okay, well, use your imagination.
All right, so I did.
Okay.
So all right, so now we're cool because I'm in black, red, and white
Yes,
stripes.
you are.
And one thing about you, when you're over 300 and something pounds, what happens is those stripes look real big on the brother. So if you're looking at me, I'm really not this size.
But actually, the stripes don't look that big on you. They went down.
Hot damn, she sure know what to say.
There we go.
And I can make them jump. The stripes be jumping on the brother. Speaking of brothers, man, I'm gonna try to do this without crying, man. I have my brother Shaheed in here. Mm-hmm. Shaheed, I used to walk across the quad, and like after we lost, and we lost quite often. All right, brother, don't worry about it, man. Y'all get him the next time. Shaheed, you know we ain't gonna win next time. I know, brother, but at least I gotta tell you that. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man.
I'm gonna have you slide that microphone up close to the pubic hairs on your chin.
Okay.
All right, bring it up a little closer.
Big hairs.
Oh, I didn't say that right?
No, you didn't say that right.
Okay. So what was I supposed to say?
Trying to put me out there like
the goat hairs on his chin. The goat hairs on his chin.
Okay.
If I said goat hairs, that means he's been with a goat.
You listen too much of that funkadelic.
There is no such thing as too much funkadelic. Plus, I like making Coach Tanya choke. You know, that's what she
Okay,
just
what's up with this
said.
internet in here? They are messing with my
can't see the
Facebook
brand.
Live.
through my suit.
She can't see the brand through your suit.
What's your brand
Q's
through
in
your
the
suit?
house.
The Q's.
Q's in the house.
Q's, all righty.
I can talk some
Omega.
Q talk too, you know. But.
Okay.
So he got a
So
little,
you got a little dog, got a little dog in the house.
He got a little dog in him. But that's my brother, and I don't need to go all into the details.
Go way back.
Yeah, man, like
to like when MTV
like
was first
Similac.
debuting on the air and stuff like that.
Yeah, we go back like Similac.
That's right.
And he's been steadfast all the time, man.
So have you, bro.
And also on the line, I have the pleasure of interviewing, I think the first former Major League Baseball player that I've ever had the chance to interview in the history of the Roland Grimes Show. I've had some former NBA, some former NFL, but this is the first time, so I'm very excited. And how do I say, kudos. Coach Tanya, you really making this thing hum, girl.
I'm sorry, what is?
I don't know, but I tell you what, I'll come find out.
I'll take my bracelet.
I'll come find out. I'll come find out in a little while. You know, it's not your bracelet; it's the dress. We gonna get you for your birthday one way or another.
And you know she's making a #1 draft pick.
You feel me? Hold on, let me get that over there. So #1 draft pick apparel.
I'm gonna even put that
Good
pink one.
gosh,
I like
man, we got to
pink.
get some more people in the studio. I'm gonna do some zoom in and zoom out a little bit later with that, so that we can get that up close and personal. But look, I'm gonna tell you now, from the time, of course, I love you, but then when I saw it, and then the brother said, "Man, you got to see this, brother Shahid is doing this," and I said, "Oh man," I said, "I know it's extra special on top of that." Coach Tanya, I'm gonna see if I can get some of this wine
That's
out of
you.
this.
That's not me.
Is it me?
Yes.
Is it Mike 1? No, it's not Mike 1. Mike 2? No, it's not Mike 2. Mike 3? No? Okay, so something else is going on. No, something else is going on. Let me take a look at something.
We're having a little technical difficulties right
No, we're having human error.
I'm just trying to be nice.
Ah, the hell with nice. I'm going to tell the truth. All right.
Now, Cinnabon, he has on red, black, and white.
Oh, turn the camera to them so they can see what they're looking at.
Let me turn the camera
All
to
right,
him.
there you go. So,
There you
after
go.
spending a few years, a few cups of coffee with the Montreal, I believe Expos is the name of the brand, been drafted in 1988 by the San Diego Padres. I'm hoping that I haven't lost you. Nico.
I'm right here. Roland Grimes, my man.
My man, Nico Riesgo. I want you to say hello to Coach Tanya.
Coach Tanya, how you doing?
I'm
Woody, I
well.
wish I was there with you.
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, so blessed. Just hearing Roland describe you got me with a big old smile on my face.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't know what you're missing, brother. Hostess never made Twinkies so good. So, number 2, I'd like to say hello to my brother Shahid in the studio.
And is it Enrico or Rico?
It's Nico
Nico?
Riesgo.
Nico Riesgo.
Yes, sir.
Salute to you, man. I'm a baseball fanatic. I played up until the 12th grade at Springfield Gardens in Queens. When he told me that you were going to be on the show, man, I got real excited. So.
Oh, Shahid, that's what's up. We can talk a lot. Are you a Mets fan or a Yankee fan?
I'm a Mets fan. Well, if you see the colors on my hat, you know what time it is. I'm a Mets fan.
You're a Mets fan. Okay, I'm a former Met, too. I don't know if you knew that, but my background, I was the Florida State League MVP in 1991 with the Mets Farm Club there in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Can I have your autograph, man?
You got it, man. And one of my books, too. I'll be sending a couple of books out your way. I just wrote the book, Strike 3, A Player's Journey Through the Infamous Baseball Strike of 1994.
Wow.
It was recently accepted in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown as a true reflection of the game during one of its greatest time of needs.
Let's talk about that in a little more detail, man. What prompted you to write that book, and what are some of the two or three major talking points that you got across in that manuscript?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Awesome. What inspired you to write the book, and what are 2 or 3 major talking points in your manuscript that you want to share with the folks this evening?
What inspired me to write the book is kind of stay connected to the book. This kind of book kind of keeps me connected to the book. When my career ended, it kind of ended in a dramatic way. The players went on strike, in 1994, which canceled the World Series for the first time ever in the game. And
wow, sure did. I remember that now.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell a little bit about what happened, my situation, and why I decided to play against the kind of enormous pressures of the Major League Union not to play. And I was once a Major League. I was in the union, and I was kind of, college educated, so I was one of the people who kind of spoke up and had some suggestions, and I didn't feel that the union really listened to any of the young players at all. They were kind of set on going on strike, and anything that, we talked about, that there was no value in going to strike, that there was going to be a lot of players left kind of hanging dry, unprotected. And we're talking AAA, AA, single A. A lot of people think that the major leagues is the greatest thing since apple pie, but it takes a long time to get there. There's probably for every 25 players that's on a major league roster, there's 125 players in the minor leagues doing the exact same thing. They got to go to the ballpark at about 2 o'clock, and they got to play till sometimes 10 to midnight. And they're doing the same thing. They're catching ground balls to short, turning double plays, hitting the balls, line drives, home runs. But they're at the minor league level, and they're getting no protection, no insurance. They're probably making sometimes $1,000 a month, and they're doing the exact same job. And when you look at most unions, that would be an example of somebody like you're in the union if you work the day shift, but if you work the night shift, you're doing the same thing, but you're not going to be in the union, and you got to do the same kind of work. And you're not going to get paid anything, but like I said, maybe $10 an hour, if that.
Shahid, you haven't been involved with baseball, been around it and digging it for as long as you have. What are some of your general perceptions of Major League Baseball as a business?
As a business?
Now, I was talking to Shahid, and I was trying to get some feedback from him on what some of the layperson's perceptions of the MLB as a business.
Well, it's changed,
okay.
and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's changed quite a bit when you see how the players are compensated with reference to the major league and not the minors, but the way that you see that they're compensated now, the contracts, the multi-million-dollar contracts, compared to the times when I was watching it in the 60s, the late 60s and early 70s. I'm a 65 baby. I sat on Roy Campanella's lap, when I was a little child, and he signed a baseball, gave it to my father. My father gave it to me. I followed the Mets in the 70s and early 70s all the way, up until this time. And when you look at the compensation of the players, then what a home run hitter like Dave Kimmon was paid then as to what they're paid now, and the endorsement deals that they have now, there's a big, big difference. We also went through the quote unquote steroid era.
Steroid era, right?
And of course they have asterisks next to certain people's names. I don't necessarily agree with that because they haven't proven all of that. But it's a very big business now. And the book that he's talking about, I think everybody needs to read that book because everybody needs to know the major leagues from the inside out so that they understand the journey. Because all the young brothers that are aspiring to be baseball players, whether they be black, white, Latino, Asian, or whatever, they need to know the journey so that they're not disappointed. Because even if you don't make it to the major league, even if you just play AA or AAA ball, or whatever your junction is, wherever you stop, there are other things that you can do to still be a part of the business, like this clothing line that I have here. Right. You can do different things.
That's right. That's a great perspective.
I was going to ask Nico, as far as, as a parent, we hear a lot about basketball, football, different things of that nature for our kids to get into. I wanted my son to play baseball, or at least to try it, because 1, he's left-handed. 2, he's an African-American male. But he would not join a baseball league. How can we get the kids more involved in baseball and bring it to like the rec leagues and things of that nature and teach them about it, teach them the business side of it, and as far as, getting scholarships to schools and things of that nature.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And a great need. a lot of it would be sometimes I had a conversation. I try to reach out to someone like Snoop Dogg, where you look at what he's doing with youth football on the Pop Warner levels. We need to get more music artists involved, where the hype is there, the entertainment is there. More maybe television shows on TV that show inner city urban kids playing the game again. We used to have the Negro Leagues back when, where we used to have the stadium full house, 50,000 fans. And I tell you, if we had another league like that, that would surely get the young players out there so they can look up to their heroes. So it's a combination of things where we can get sometimes the Nike and the major Adidas involved, because a lot of the young players are playing AAA or AAU basketball, and they want to play basketball because they want to get the tennis shoes. They want to get the AAU gets all the players the gear. You know what I mean? And when you call Nike and say, hey, can I get some gear for baseball for my players over here? They don't want to give up nothing. They don't want to give up nothing for baseball. It's no hype there. And, you see all the former basketball players, Michael Jordan doing the commercials, and the Barclays doing the commercials, and all the former football players. But you never hardly see any baseball players getting the limelight, getting the hype, being a part of the music industry, the movie industry, to really, bring attention to the game that it needs.
And I was going to say, with you speaking about that, you mentioned about getting the artist to be involved in it, but why not getting the athlete to be involved in it? It's one thing to get a Snoop Dogg or somebody like that, but on a business side, yes, but I don't want my child to look up to that, on some of the things that they stand for. With basketball, with football, yes, you get the professional players that actually come out, or the ones that are in, per se, the not in the NBA, but in the
NFL?
Yes, in the NFL and different things of that nature. They come out and they talk to the kids. They come to the camps, or they hold camps for kids. Why don't baseball players do that? I mean, even soccer players do it. My son was in a soccer camp with people from Brazil. Why don't the baseball players do something like that for the kids to get them involved with it?
That is another good question. Where are the major stars of today, like the Derek Jeters? I mean, he's more concerned with buying the Miami Marlins. I think a lot of players, I'll give you an example, someone like Mike Piazza. I came up with Mike Piazza. He's in the Hall of Fame, but I knew Mike Piazza when we were both making probably $50 a day playing in the minor leagues. And a couple years ago, I saw him at the MTV kind of celebrity softball game. And he's, like I said, he's in a multi-million dollar stratosphere, and he didn't even hardly say hi to me. He just kind of walked right by me, and like I used to be able to call him one of my friends. But when you make so much money, I guess, in the game, sometimes you lose touch with reality. I'll give you another example. Bobby Higginson with the Detroit Tigers. I played with him. He made over $40 million. Again, I try to ask him to come out to some of our camps and talk to the kids, and they live a whole nother life. I mean, they're in Aruba and Cancun, and they just don't have much time when they have so much money. And it's really sad. I'm kind of thankful myself that I didn't turn into one of those players because, my mentality may not be where it's at right now to help others. It could be lost in the stratosphere like a lot of these players.
Before I lose train of the thought, I want to say this. You mentioned Snoop Dogg. I happen to work with someone. I was a part of a major VH1 rock doc, Planet Rock, the story of hip hop and the crack generation, and it was a sister that helped me to find the original Freeway Rick Ross on the West Coast. Her name is Iman Muhammad Ali, and she actually worked for Snoop with the Chicago branch of his youth football league. So perhaps when we get off the air, I can give you a contact for that. But I want to say this about that divide, where those the haves, and not necessarily the have-nots, to those who don't have as much as those who have a lot. We either have to get in the ear of those who have that kind of money, or we have to make an example of them by banding together and pooling our resources to do certain things in the community around the nation to help make a difference. You appear to have a mindset that's going to really help make a difference. Your book is going to make a difference because you're going to be traveling, doing book signings and things like that, and talking to different audiences and exposing certain aspects of the Major League Baseball arena that a lot of people really don't know anything about.
Right.
I mean, I've read a lot about the Latino brothers coming from overseas who had to take like horse steroids and stuff like that to get their muscles up to a certain point to perform at a certain level in the major leagues. I've heard all different types of stories. And a lot of these stories have to be told, you know, so that they give us a well-rounded view of what it's like, so that the youth that are coming up, they may not necessarily have to travel as a rougher road. There's nothing wrong with traveling a rough road.
Right.
But I think that, you know, as time goes along, things need to get a little more easier for the youth. So I think that your book is going to help make a difference. I think that your life experience in a Major League Baseball, once your story is really told, this question I have for you, have you ever thought about taking it to the film?
Yes, I'm trying to sell it. Maybe you can help me sell the movie rights, because that's a story. You've seen the football replacement movie with Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a Baseball Strike 3 movie too, and that's what the book is about, to bring attention, to the game. And like I said, it also doesn't also highlight, some of the negatives of the game, but it also highlights some of the greatness of the game too. When you're looking at a lot of the things that the game teaches the kids, like patience. You got to be very patient in the game. Balls and strikes. Sometimes if they don't throw you a strike, you got to take your balls. The name of the game is just to keep swinging, get on base. When you strike out, what do you do when you strike out? Do you cry or throw your bat or your helmet at the end of the world? Or do you get excited about the next opportunity, about a payback? Because I know whenever I struck out, I was kind of like upset, but I was determined. The next time I was going to face that guy, he was like, he got me last time. I'm going to get him back. I'm going to hit a double or a triple next time. I got him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt that way every time a linebacker hit me in the nose.
He was going to run him over like a light pole.
What? Run him over, his family, his dog, everything in front of him. Nico, as we ready to wrap up on this segment of it, something came to mind as Shahid was talking about how to collectively band together and do some things. One of the things that I used to do was get caught up with the money that a particular star was making, Derek Jeter, or whomever, and said, this person had a lot of leverage because he was a celebrity, he had all this money. But then if I put 200 people in a room, they may have just as much money as him. So, in essence, a collective movement can be just as strong, if not stronger, than a one-person celebrity with some money, because a collective movement with some shared investment of time and energy can go just as far. Now, you always have the celebrity as a draw, but it doesn't necessarily end there if the celebrity is not there drawing, as long as there's some banning, some kind of thread that makes people want to work together and get things done. I watch it all the time in Coach Tanya's Bike Club. The things that they can do that are amazing, because the power in numbers, makes them much stronger than any MLB team out there, because collectively they have just as much resource and just as much strength, time and money-wise, as these individual stars. This is what we're going to do. I need you to pass on some information to the folks. Tell us where we can find you, where we can find your book.
Well, I'm here in Tempe, Arizona, mainly just by my cell phone, 248-275-7932.
I have that number.
Email.
Great.
Yeah, NicoRiesgo@gmail.com. Facebook, I'm online, Nico Riesgo. And I'm available here at any time to help promote the game.
Awesome. Now,
your last name?
Riesgo, and that's Nico, Nikco.
Okay.
Nikco.
Riesgo.
Correct.
I got you online. I got you right now, man.
So we got you Facebook friend.
You got me?
I got you, man. I pulled you up on Google, man. Google is a Miracle worker.
It's a beast.
Yeah. And I own some Google stock, so my God, I hope they continue to be a beast. So having said that, man, I want to invite you back and be a contributor to some of our material as we go, because we deal with education, we deal with sports, we deal with entertainment, we deal with things. And people that have, who are in your position, they have more to offer than just that industry that they've been in. As you said, you're college educated. And college educated, college degreed individual, especially when you came out in something like Major League Baseball, wasn't necessarily just a minority of folks, but it wasn't that prevalent because a lot of us went to college during that time just to play ball. So we went through it, and especially in football, a lot of us left college before we even finished our degree to pursue that NFL career. So there's some things that you can lend to the space, man, that would be very, very helpful. I appreciate that information. I'll be sure to pass it on to listeners and viewers. And then once we air this segment, I'll be sure and tag you on it so you can ship it out to different people as you go. I will also text you address so you can send copies of the book so we can highlight that as well. And what I'd like for you to do is, I know you won't be able to stay on the phone because we have some other phone callers coming in, but if you can go to elifemedia.net, and I'll text that to you as well, you can watch the rest of the show as we get into some of the treasures that my brother Shahid brought with me, and hopefully you guys can even create some kind of line of communication that will be mutually beneficial. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I'm excited. All right, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to get on your show.
Not a problem.
I wish you all the best of luck.
I appreciate that.
I'm here for you.
And on a
the day I die.
And on a personal closing note, even though my father is a huge fan of Coach Tanya, after his fanship of Coach Tanya, baseball was his number one game. He's actually in the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame for D.C. athletes here in the D.C. area. He played for the D.C. Blackhawks, I believe they were called back in the day, and then tried out for the Yankees, pulled a hamstring. Me and my dad got some big hamstrings. Pulled a hamstring as he was going around second base after hit, and that's pretty much where his pro pursuits ended. But he played a number of years on the sandlots here in the D.C. area, during an era where a lot of brothers couldn't get opportunities to play in the majors, man. So baseball is dealing with.
It looks like we got Coach Tony. We can get that left-hander out there on the mound. We may have a future major league pitcher there if we just get him back into the game.
I haven't given up on him. He's 11 right now, so he's doing basketball. 11? Mm-hmm. He's doing basketball and soccer, but I haven't given up. I ask him every spring. Okay, you want to do baseball?
You ask him to call me personally. I'll give him a little motivational talk, and like I said, hopefully by the end of the talk, he'll be ready to go out there and strike somebody out.
I will definitely do that. I'll reach out to you and friend you on Facebook, and I'll get your number from Roland, and I will definitely do that.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Only on the Roland Grimes Show Live. We have Coach Tanya's theme song. So, brother, as you get ready to leave, you can listen to this because this one melts Coach Tanya's heart. And I live to melt Coach Tanya's heart. And then we're going to be right back.
My man.
Darling, you are all the woman that I need. Just look at you. Hair done, nails done, and your taste in clothes are impeccable. But you know what makes me happy, babe? Do you know what really makes me happy? I love it when you dance. When you dance. When you dance. For me. Your poetry in motion. A treat for all eyes to see. Your movements are so sexy, but never too obscene. You're lost in the music. Girl, you found your space within this groove. Your body's waving like the ocean, and I'm so in love with you. When you dance for me,
check two. Check one, check two. See, every time I get it cranked up, I get that. So anyway, some things just don't need to be abbreviated, but we got to keep things moving. That's my man Mark Williams, right out of I believe out of the Bayou area, New Orleans. And his signature dance for me. Coach Tanya, how you like that sound today?
I like that.
Yeah, I try to keep it in the pocket. Play it for you about once a month.
Yeah.
Just so you can dance for you.
So I dance for me.
You can dance for you.
Yes.
Coach Tanya, do me a
Yes, sir.
favor. I'm going to zoom in on some stuff in a little bit. So as I do that, I'm going to shift the camera around back on me.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put it back on my brother Shaheed.
Okay.
And I want to know, Shaheed, tell me a little bit about the inspiration, the purpose, the direction of #1 draft pick. Talk to me, brother.
Well, listen, I was explaining the concept to Sis earlier when she had just come in. She said, well, why #1 draft pick? I said, well, when you look at our youth out there, that's our future. The future's in the stars, and we want them to be the best. So we want them to be #1, and we want them to be drafted by the best. And who is the best? God, right?
Yeah.
And so the concept, of course, in the sports world, we know we see the #1 draft pick for the NBA and the NFL and all this good stuff. But us growing up in the streets, my man Supreme right here, I don't know if you can see that, the dark-skinned brother. He's about my complexion. He'll be calling in soon. You know, we grew up in New York City during a time when a lot of us, Brother Bubba, didn't make it.
Yes.
You know, for every, like Rico was saying about Major League Baseball, for every brother that made it to college where I went to Syracuse with you, there were 10 or 15 brothers that fell a victim to the penile institution or died at a young age due to violence on the streets, all the guns and stuff flowing in the streets. And so those of us who rose to the occasion and survived all that and went on and to start families, we became the #1 draft pick to excel, to motivate others. And so Brother Supreme developed this beautiful clothing line, and this is like his second or third clothing line. His clothing lines have done well. He has had Johnny Handsome and First Choice, but #1 draft pick is really something really very special about what he's doing here with this. And he's asked me to come on board to help him to expand it in this Maryland, DC, and Virginia area. And, you know, I'm from New York City originally, but I've been here for over 20 years now. And this Maryland area is very special when it comes to sports. You have a lot of very talented young brothers and sisters that come up out of this area. I have 3 children. I have a 24-year-old son who's about to have a son. Congratulations to my son, Nakare.
Congrats.
My first grand, of course, you know, he's due next month on the 11th. I have a...
so we having a grandson?
Yes,
grandchild.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Man.
I'm going to put a baseball in his hand.
I'm finally a
Oh,
grandfather.
that's right.
My man. It's a family affair, baby.
Hey, man, and it's a happy thing, too. And, you know, my mother's real happy. I lost my father when I was 3, so I'm sure he's smiling from the heavenly realm. And I have 2 daughters. Jamila, she has her own hair business. She went to Morgan. And my youngest daughter, thank you, and my youngest daughter is pre-med at the University of Maryland. She just finished her first year. She's in an honors program.
Very good.
And so they've been inspired by not just my example, but of course their mother's example. But this brand here is a lot of really good energy around it because a lot of the young brothers and sisters are inclining towards it. Of course, there's a lot of colors and there's a lot of different things. Even when you look at the inside of the hat, I don't know if, you know, folks can see this, but, you know, there's a lot going on, and New York City has a lot of flavor. Now, Bro Supreme designed a lot of these pieces himself, having been involved in the clothing industry for a while. But that's the flavor to it. Is hip hop, is urban, is a little edgy, but this is a national brand that's catching a fire everywhere across the country right about now. And soon enough, we're going to be competing with the major brands. I won't name them, but already we have folks like you might see Anthony Hamilton. He's got his #1 draft pick brand on. We got some of the congressmen, rocking out with it and stuff like that. So, as we go along, I'll talk more about it. But I'm very excited about this brand. We have it in a few stores in the area here already. DTLR, Sports Zone. I'm going into a lot of the mom and pop shops and, talking to them too, because there are no little eyes or, big U's in this thing, man. Across the board, we want to impact the whole demographic market, black, white, young, old, Asian, intergalactic.
You want to do your thing. You want to do your thing.
Parliament. I'm trying to talk to you.
I understand, and I'm feeling it. So you gonna do your thing.
We're doing our thing.
Coach Tom, you jump in when you're ready, baby.
Okay. Now, majority of the brands that I see here on the table, it looks like a lot of them are geared in men's sizes. Do you do women's sizes and things of that?
Yes, we do.
Different.
Yes, we do. We do, and this pink.
Well, the pink, yeah.
Not only that, this. The
like orange color.
Well, it kind of blends in. You got little yellow streaks in that dress right there, But and of course this is kind of Golden State Warrior colors. I'm a Knicks fan, but I do respect them, By the way, I want to mention Kevin Durant Day coming up. Thanks to Divine Records, who merged with Sony, they're sponsoring along with a couple other people Kevin Durant Day in Seat Pleasant. So Kevin will be here shortly, and I'm going to put one of these, see if he can at least touch it, because I know about these endorsement contracts and stuff like that.
Right. Sometimes you can't even touch it.
But I mean, he can at least look at it.
Or you can take a picture with him with it on.
Right.
So what other products do you all do besides the hats and the shirts?
We have, if you go on to spell out the word number and the number 1 draftpick.com. Once again, that's www.number1draftpick.com. Mm-hmm. You will see all sorts of different outfits. Like the brother right here has on a racing car outfit. We got racing car outfits. That's fly. Man, we got some fly stuff. You hear me? And it is not as expensive as Gucci and Prada and Nike and all this. It's very, very reasonable prices for this type of stuff, and it's high quality material. So we have basketball shorts, we have football jerseys, baseball jerseys, leggings like the yoga pants for the women and stuff like that. We have apparel for youth, like the youth sizes and things of that nature. So we pretty much cater to everyone. I have stuff in the trunk. I didn't want to load y'all up. And I didn't want to scare y'all coming in here with a trunk load of stuff like I was trying to sell.
You don't forgot who you talking to, man. But but that's all right though, brother. It's been a while. We'll break you back in.
You a small brother? Or what size?
Man, whatever. I got all kinds of flowers in my garden, brother.
I know, brother.
Coach Tanya, talk to me.
Another question with this. I noticed how the logo is. Now, say for instance, if a youth organization wanted you all to sponsor them or wanted to have, like how the Nikes and the Under Armour and things of that nature kind of sponsor youth teams and things. Mm-hmm. Do you all do that? Or is that something down the line once you all get established a little more?
It's something down the line, but there are certain things, like I'm going up to New York on Saturday. Actually, I'm leaving Friday. And there's a big event in the park. Mm-hmm. Supreme and them already in that area are already doing that with the little leagues. Mm-hmm. Supreme played football up until the 12th grade, like I played baseball up until the 12th grade. Unfortunately, neither one of us got drafted anywhere, because we had other things in front of us. And Syracuse didn't have a baseball team. But he's already working with the Rosedale Jets and doing stuff. He's already. I'm going to be doing that. In this area.
When you're ready to do it in this area,
come talk to me.
Cheer coordinator for the Waldorf Wildcats.
Okay.
And we have cheer, football, track, and baseball.
All right.
So
talk to me.
All right.
You got me right here.
So as Brother Supreme gets ready to come on the line with us, I'm going to throw a couple things to you.
Okay.
That I want you to keep in mind. This is a real good time of the year to get some of those hats on some of the college players, because when they're off scholarship, so to speak, during the summertime, they can live a little different life than they can during the school year when they're limited, when everything is a violation. So this is a
Talk
good
to me a little
time.
bit about that. Explain that to me.
Well, what that means is that they're slaves, and they're not allowed to do anything that. If you give a hat to a Division I football player during the season, then you have to give a hat to everybody on campus.
To every player on the team.
No, to every
You said everybody on campus.
student on campus.
Wow.
Is that right?
Exactly.
That's very expensive for the company.
So the laws are, or the rules are, in NCAA that no player can receive any kind of anything that is not available to every other student on campus. So if you give them a free hot dog, you give a free hot dog to every student on campus. All right, and that's the prohibitive nature of that particular type of plantation system that the NCAA, he's listening in, that the NCAA has created. So the time to get to them is during the summertime when they're doing some of their workouts or whatever, or know someone, or give a guy like me a couple hats, and when I'm around some of them, boom, especially the ones that I used to coach, and we give them one. Some of the NFL guys that we've been associated with, give you their names, give you their numbers. You can ship it right to, like one of them is going to training camp with, let's say, the Houston Texans. All right, ship it right to the Houston Texans with that person's name on it, with a note, say, hey, Coach Grimes told me to get this to you, boom. Who knows? One time they put it on, and then people just Google, say, what is that? That's another way to get to it. High school athletes now, because everybody's on YouTube. You can give stuff to high school.
YouTube, Snapchat, all
Right.
that.
You can give gear to high school athletes. It's no big deal. Sports like track, like my daughter, big in track in the area, things like that. In other words, that's an inexpensive advertisement when you give away a product, because the cost of the product and the opportunity for a moving billboard is a lot less expensive than trying to buy a billboard that sits there and people ride by it. So when you give product to individuals who are out there moving and out there being watched because of the athleticism, that's a great, inexpensive way to market. The next piece and last piece is you and Brother Supreme get together and we have a conversation, Coach Tanya and I, about building a media partnership. Because once you establish a media partnership with someone, then everything we do, we're able to take your brand and your logo with us. So when we go see Parliament Funkadelic, we get to take that with us.
Okay.
When we go see Ronnie Laws, we get to take that with us. When my man Brubman from the 5th floor came in here the other day, we get to keep a hat right there. And he says, hey, man, what's this? When Chris Thomas comes in. So a media partnership opens up doors that, when Tony Terry called in, and she was here, and Tony Terry called in, Sugar Bear from EU. So whatever celebrities, et cetera, that connect with us through the media, that gives us a natural, automatic entree into them, and you being able to provide them with an outlet to connect with you and to connect with other people. And then once they do something as simple as add you to their Facebook or Twitter account, now you get a chance to be seen by their entire network just by posting one or two things. So that media partnership, and Brother Supreme, just to let you know, because we're talking about Brother Shaheed, we'll put a media partnership together, and I wouldn't care if it was pennies. But it's important for me to help this brother in any way I can to get to where he needs to be, because I know what he stands for as a human being. Brother Supreme, we have a few minutes. You're online. Talk to us. How are you this evening?
Well, I'm doing great, and it was an honor to be on this show today with you. And I definitely support everything you're saying. And we're definitely looking to do all types of different partnerships to continue to grow the brand and get as much awareness as we can so we can compete on a major level.
Awesome. So you have Coach Tanya, you have Brother Shaheed, and you have Roland Bubba Grimes and Chocolate Date.
On a Monday night.
On a Monday night, as my baby said. So look, this is part of what's happening. And of course, Coach Tanya will, every time I start getting beside myself, she reels me back in. So if I say something too funky, she'll shut me down. So here's the thing, man. I'm looking at your artistry, and I'm really digging some of the range that your artistry is showing in these clothes, man. Tell me where that comes from. Who's doing it? How you doing it, man? What's that skill set that you're bringing to the party that makes this stuff look so good, man?
Well, like I said, we probably have to do a couple of shows to get everything, but I'm going to make it brief. I have about 20 years experience in the industry where I've been able to work with a lot of amazing people, see amazing things, and most of all, just growing up black, having the awareness to have lived things that we take for granted that every day can make a huge amount of bucks once you put yourself in the right avenue, and you can now creatively see the things that you enjoy, whether it be colorful stuff or arts or just things that people wouldn't normally think to bring to the forefront because they weren't raised that way. The majority of people in the industry that had the key into what get released never grew up the way we did. So being an entrepreneur my whole life and learning this new craft of fashion, I saw a way that I can position myself to be one of them and be able to bring a lot of the things that we are accustomed to in the forefront. And a lot of these stuff is things that we all grow up seeing, just being colorful flags, everything that we understand to be, I guess, pudding. I was able to come out and put them all together and just show the craft in that light.
Well, look, man, I really appreciate it. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to get in the kitchen. We used to say, Grandma, you put your toe in that. And that food was tasting good. So I just wanted to tell you, brother, you put your foot in this, man.
Sure did.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
And I like the material. I'm modeling one of your shirts right now on my Facebook
Appreciate
page.
that.
She's modeling it well, Supreme. I tell you, man, y'all are some beautiful people. And Brother Supreme, Brother Supreme and I go way, way back. This brother's always been talented. He's helped to put a lot of people on the map. He's done a lot of great things. And I just want people to get at us. I'm right here in the Maryland area. Supreme is in New York. I'm right here in Maryland. DC, Virginia, get at me. My email address is shzarreign@gmail.com. Go to www.number1draftpick.com and get at us, because this type of quality sportswear is something that you want to wear. Supreme, tell them a little more about it, man, because we only got a few more minutes.
Is this a dry
man.
fit material?
Basically it's dry fit.
Okay.
It's a performance athletic wear where it helps consume the sweat, and it allows you to keep the energy within, and it gives you more motivation and more energy to keep going. But most of all, we have great leaders in the fashion industry already to follow by example. So what we try to do is present our product on the same level as a Nike or Under Armour, since they're like the leaders in our market space. So what better way to establish yourself but to compete right off the gate with the same type of material as them? Time will allow us to prosper to their levels in years to come, but we can compete right then and there. Since, anything we do gets scrutinized extra for whatever imperfection that it may be. So one of the things that I always said to myself, I'm going to go out the gate is to bring the best to people, because that's when people will respect what you have for them.
Awesome. Man, appreciate it much. Coach Tanya.
Yes, sir.
As always, man, I love you like no
Love
other.
you too, and I miss you.
So, are you gone next week?
I am gone as of this Wednesday, July 19th, which is my birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And so this isn't the big 50 party.
No, that's next year. This
That's
is
next
49.
year. It's 49.
Not supposed to put them
49.
numbers out there, bro.
I am not
Oh,
ashamed
no,
of my age.
she's never been ashamed.
I'm not ashamed of my age, because people don't believe that I'm 49.
No, well, you look about 30.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A
So,
lady in the mall the other day, quickly, I was in the mall with DeAndre getting him glasses. This older lady was asking me to help her pick out her glasses. And she heard him say, Mom. And she looked, she was like, I thought you was his girlfriend.
oh,
I was like, no.
Oh.
And then at the
and he's 11.
No. DeAndre, 20.
Oh, DeAndre 20, right.
Right.
And then at the circus, we went to Universal Soul Circus, and they asked for somebody to go up 40 and over to dance, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and Khalil and them like, Mom, go up. And the guy behind me, he's like, did he just say Mom? I said, yes. He was like, oh, my God, I would have never guessed that. But yes, so I am not ashamed.
Man,
They card me all day long.
Called you all day long.
Yes.
So Shaheed, man, I'm starting to feel better about myself. I knew I had an eye for talent. Damn, I didn't
Got
know that
that.
it was getting out there and folks was dropping bombs on you like that, sister girl. But you know what? And of course, every time I do some of these shows, some of it is about us and them and all of us. But happy birthday to you, darling.
Thank you.
That's
Don't
a-
forget my event, September 30th and October 1st. It's for men. I will send you all the information, Brother
Oh,
I
you
got
know
you.
what? This
Yes.
is a real good connection
Yes,
for
I
that.
will be talking to you
Yes.
both
You'll
in
handle that.
regards to
You got that
Get at
covered.
me. Get at me.
I have an event August 12th, and we'll talk about it another time because Coach Tanya
I'm
won't
not
be
gonna
there.
be there.
So I'm in my feelings right now. All right, we got to go say bye-bye to everybody. Shaheed,
Yes, sir.
I have a request of you,
Okay.
and Coach Tanya has seen me do this a couple times, so I'm going to do it again right now. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, man, you real good over the air, brother.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Coach Tanya
Yes.
has a responsibility to go get that which I want. And I would love for you to be a frequent co-host, return
okay.
co-host on my show.
Oh, brother. No
And
problem.
and she will work that out with you because she's real good at convincing people to do stuff that they don't want to do.
Brother's going to work it out. Let's do
All right.
it. All
So
right.
so I think you should be a frequent revisit, man. And then and let's have some fun. And then in doing that also, we get to connect people to the brand as
doubt.
well. And then
No doubt.
all right.
Love it.
So I count you in, man.
I got you,
Once a
brother.
month, man. I think it'd be a great thing.
Hey, man.
All right, we're going to take this away with some Tony Terry. Tony Terry.
Tony?
Tony Terry.
Tony Terry.
Only because he's sexy, as you said. And DJ Rico. Followed by Idris Elbow.
Okay.
Idris is alright.
I know his name.
Idris is alright.
All right, folks. Y'all stay peaceful till we see you next time. Rolling Bubba Grimes,
Yes,
Rolling Grimes Show.
yes.
We, as Harriet Tubman said in 18-something, we're out of here.
Peace.
So glad that you came. Not afraid to play my game. Promise it won't be a shame. That I'm down with the freaking things you do to me, and I'll do to you. Yeah. And it makes me feel so good. Girl, I know the spots that'll make you hot. Baby, ready or not, you know. Girl, I know the place. Tell me that you're on your way. Tell me that you're on your way. Baby, don't be too late. I'm needing you tonight. Tell me that you wanna stay. Tell me I got a game that we can play.
Tony T right now, man. Everybody, come on and just cut your heads, everybody. Cut your heads, everybody. Come on. You know why? Oh, he's back. Tony T's back. Everybody, come on. Now get your hands up. Put your hands up. Then get your hands up. Put your hands up. Then get your hands up. Put your hands up. Get your hands up. Get 'em up now. Hey,
I hope you're on your way to me. I got a game to play. Got a game that we should play. Don't be afraid. Gotta make you hot. Tell me that you're not well. Girl, it's all the way. Tell me that you're on your way. Tell me that you wanna stay.